champion. He's ranked number 2 in the world with Ring Magazine. And a recent run of wins over Deontay Wilder, Zhilei Zhang and Martin Bakole have proved that he is ready and willing to fight any man, anytime, any place. Well, the next man is not just any man. He is unbeaten in 20 fights. Fabio Wardley is the WBA interim heavyweight champion. He's ranked number 7 in the world with Ring Magazine, and he has an incredible knockout rate of 94%. And he's proven that on any given night, at any given moment, he has the world-class punching power to end a fight with just one shot. And one trait that both of these men share is that they never walk away from a challenge. In fact, time and time again, they have proven they would rather walk directly towards the fire. And that's what awaits them on October 25th, ladies and gentlemen, because both Joseph Parker and Fabio Wardley will bring the fire. The winner will keep their world title dreams alive. And the loser, well, their world title dreams, for now at least, they will turn to ashes. Ladies and gentlemen, October 25th, live around the world on the global home of boxing, DAZN, from the O2 London. This is Parker versus Wardley. This is all or nothing. A lot of faces up here, a lot of people we need to speak to. I'm going to get an opening word from the fighters before we come back to them. I'm going to start with Fabio Wardley because, Fabio, as soon as this fight was formally announced, I saw a tweet from you which said, big fights only. It's not going to get much bigger than this right now. He's number 2 in the world. Big moment in your career.
Yeah, look, huge moment in my career. Defining moment, probably. Defining point, maybe a left turn or a right turn. But I am committed to that saying of big fights only because, look, I've not come here to play around. I've not made it this far in my career to just hang about and wait for things to be handed to me. I'm very much a go-getter. Look, I made my way through the WBA rankings. I got myself into a fantastic position there. But look, if that's not going to go how we planned, then I'm not just going to sit in the wings and wait. I'm gonna be in Frank's ear and say, look, what's the next best opportunity here? What's the next best thing? And there is, while Oleksandr Usyk is tied up at the moment, there is no other better competitor, I think, in the division right now than the number 2 man, Joseph Parker.
And what makes you think you're ready to beat Joseph Parker?
I think at this stage in my career, I've ticked off the right amount of milestones. I've ticked off the right amount of rounds, ups, downs, the roller coaster moments in fights and in my career in general, that I've got enough experience now to take me through into a top level fight. I've been saying for a while now that I feel like I believe I deserve to be mentioned amongst those names, and people maybe still have reservations and question marks. So October 25th is where I kind of wipe that all clean by beating Joseph Parker and announcing really and truly that it's undeniable that I am shoulder to shoulder with those kind of guys.
Okay, thanks, Fabio. Let's get an opening word from Joseph Parker. And Joseph, once again, like so many times in your career, you are walking towards the fire. He's the biggest puncher out there right now, knocking everyone out. Tell us why you're taking this fight and tell us your thoughts.
Afternoon, everyone. Good to see you all here today. Thanks to my team for making this fight happen. Walking towards the fire. I love the fire. I've fought a lot of fighters out there with big punches, and they haven't really been able to get me out of there. So I want to give credit to Fabio Wardley for taking this fight. We could have sat and waited for Usyk for when he's ready or not injured. But we, as fighters, are showing that we'll fight anyone, anytime. I think this is going to be a great fight. I know Wardley is determined, and he's said he's ticked all those boxes and got the rounds in that he needs to have a big fight like this. But fighting a person like myself is very different to fighting everyone else that he's fought. I bring a lot of experience. I bring, same as in belief, determination, and I will win come to 25th October.
Joseph, one final one before I bring in Frank Warren. What does this come down to? Is this all about levels here?
Yeah, there are levels. There's they do say there's levels in boxing, and I believe with the experience that I have and what I've been working on in New Zealand with George, and I got Andy by my side, got a good base, and it's just I'm excited to see what I can do in the ring.
Okay, Joseph, Fabio, your mics are both live. Feel free to come back in if you hear anything. I'll be coming to you guys at the end as well. Let's bring in Hall of Fame boxing promoter Frank Warren. And Frank, in this incredible heavyweight division, it's big fight after big fight. Talk to us about this fight. Why is it so significant in the division, please?
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming along. Why is this fight so significant? Because you've got two guys who don't need to fight each other. Both are interim champions of their respective divisions. WBO Joe Parker, WBA Fabio. Usyk, he's out for 90 days. The WBO have said that at the end of those 90 days, he has to defend that belt or he will be stripped or he will vacate it. So this fight is made because the winner of it will be the man who will be the next challenger to Usyk. That's as simple as that. And if he doesn't fight them, the winner could be declared champion if he vacates. So you've got to take your hat off to both of them. They're not waiting their turn. You know, the WBO is the next turn. Joe wants to fight. He doesn't want to wait till next year. Otherwise, be waiting probably until March now, seeing as Usyk's out. He won't be able to get into training. And with Fabio, he sees this as a shortcut. He could wait his turn as being the interim champion. But Usyk, when he holds the 4 belts, there's no unification fights. Therefore, a guy who fights twice a year, if you're one of those challengers, you could be waiting 2 years before you get your chance. So for Fabio, he's seizing the chance. As he said, it could be a defining moment for him. He has the desire. He's a KO specialist. He can punch, and he's putting it all on the line, as is Joe Parker. He doesn't need to do this fight. He's fighting because he's a fighting man. He has tremendous experience. And at the end of the day, there'll be a winner and there'll be a loser. And for the winner, it'll be all. And for the loser, it'll be nothing, because the loser will go back down the queue. So that's what this fight's all about. Two fighting men putting it on the line to go out there and fight for the right, for fighting for the 4 belts.
Thank you, Frank. I was going to ask you about the Usyk situation, but I think you've cleared it all up within that. So much on the line, of course, October 25th. Let's move over to Michael Ridout from DAZN. And Michael, another fantastic heavyweight fight coming up on DAZN. You must be excited.
Very excited. And look, thanks everybody for coming today and braving another brilliant tube strike. This is a massive week in boxing. Not only are we here today announcing an amazing heavyweight clash, but of course, there is the small matter of an incredible world title fight this weekend, where all eyes of the boxing world will, of course, be on Belfast. Paddy Donovan, Lewis Crocker, they rematch in front of a packed Windsor Park, and of course, it's live on DAZN this Saturday. But back to matters at hand. This is an amazing fight, as Frank and everybody else has set up here. This is two guys who are in pole position to fight for a world title, but they are throwing caution to the wind. Joe and Fabio, they've made their intentions very clear. They do not want to wait around on the sidelines. They want to fight, and on October 25th, we are definitely going to witness a fight. Two men who have proved themselves to be elite amongst the heavyweights. They come forward, they throw bombs for our entertainment, and we will all be entertained, and you can watch the fight live only on DAZN.
Thank you very much, Michael. Let me bring in David Higgins, who's been by Joe Parker's side for the entirety of his career. You've seen the highs, you've seen the lows. Tell me what you're thinking heading into this fight, and how confident are you that Joe Parker will indeed defeat Fabio Wardley October 25th?
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Great to be here. First, I'd like to thank Queensberry Promotions' Frank Warren for getting this fight on at quite short notice. Often these fights take a long time to put together, and to thank Manuka Doctor, our team sponsor. Fantastic to be back fighting in London for Joseph. It's like a second home in the UK. Built a great rapport with the fan base here. You know, I can't help but think, I mean, credit to Fabio Wardley for stepping up. A lot of boxers don't, and pad records, etc. To Frank Warren's point, you know, it's easy to pad. A lot of people in Joseph Parker's position would choose to wait instead of taking a risk. So Fabio, I can't help but think that, I think when Fabio started as a pro, or as a white collar fighter, Joseph Parker in 2016 beat Andy Ruiz to win the WBO heavyweight world title in Auckland, New Zealand in 2016. And since that time, you look at the names on Parker's resume, you've got Anthony Joshua, Dillian White, Joe Joyce, he beat Derek Chisora twice. You've got Bacoli, Zhang, Wilder, and that run of the last three, Wilder, Zhang, Bacoli, in just over 12 months. Can you think of a bit of a run in heavyweight boxing history to put those three away in about a year? There wouldn't be many better runs. So you've got Joseph Parker at the very peak of his powers, and Wardley, I'm sure, will be thinking about that now that it all sinks in, and credit him for stepping up.
Why does he win? Why does Parker win? Is this just about levels?
Definitely about levels. I mean, I have mass respect for Wardley for stepping up, but on paper, every advantage really, speed, experience, the names on the resume, and so I think there are levels, and we're going to find out on 25 October.
Let's bring in someone who will most certainly disagree with you in terms of Michael Offo from Platform Sports. I saw actually, Michael, you and Fabio had a little smirk amongst yourselves when David Higgins mentioned the run of the 3 fights being one of the best in history. Talk to me, what are you thinking?
You know, we've come against them before and we're 1-0 up with Dillian White, so we've heard it all before. And I just think the difference between these two warriors is that when Fabio has a bad day, he finds a way to win. And I think it's going to be as simple as that. No matter how tough it gets, no matter how difficult it gets in there, Fabio will find a way to win. He's got the authority in there, and he's got the ability to be patient and execute his game plan. So, you know, it's good to be with Queensbury, and it's going to be a dominant performance from us. And I can only see it going one way, and that's a KO from Fabio Wardley.
Hey, with respect, since that lucky headbutt Dillian White got, we've been offered him a rematch 100 times, and has not wanted to even communicate. So,
I'll disagree there. We tried to make that fight, and you guys were being unreasonable. And look, let's be honest. You're a prop up here. You know, you had to call in the big guns, Spence and Uncle Frank, to get Parker to the top level. So, you know,
I think my career stands on its own against yours, brother.
Let's see. You know, we're here, we're ready, and like I said, Fabio's going to dominate your guy. Like I said, you're a prop here, so I'd rather speak with the big dogs than speak with you.
Big dog, do you have a comment?
Yeah, it's quite interesting, actually, what you just said there. I think you dodged a bullet last time, didn't you? You dodged a big bullet, and you have... I'm not taking anything away from Fabio. He's a great fighter. I wouldn't like to meet him in a dark alley, that's for certain. He's a great fighter. He's very tenacious. But with Joe Parker, this is a completely different animal. He's got better and better. In the last 2 years, his team's changed. His nutrition's changed. I just think that there is levels. I think Fabio Wardley's definitely in the level, but this might be one step too far. After what we saw with Justice Hooney, you know, it was a very difficult night for him, but he came through. Fair enough, he came through, knocked him out, but you can't keep doing that. And listen, there's no nicer man than Fabio Wardley, but he's going to meet his match with Joe Parker. Please believe me.
If you dodge a bullet and then get shot in the head, it's irrelevant. So, you know, the fight was the fight. And
yes, I'm not taking that away from you. I'm just saying.
So we don't even need to bring it into play.
Well, why not?
The win.
Look, you've
got the win.
You've got to beat. You're beating Australia now. You got the big dogs. The New Zealanders are walking in now. Right? Now these are a completely different animal. And I'm telling you, you will find that in this fight. You wait and see. But not taking anything away. You dodged the bullet. You got away with it. Fair play.
He dodged the bullet and shot him in the head. So
Well,
that's all. That's
I don't know
all
about that.
needs to be
I don't know
said.
about that. But anyway,
He didn't
fair
make the
play
count.
to him. He's
The
here
same
now,
thing's gonna
and he's
happen
here with
October
Joseph
25th on his
now.
own.
So let's see what the next chapter holds.
That is one of the stories heading into this fight. Of course, Justice Hooney was your last win, Fabio, and Spencer Brown represents Justice Hooney just like he does Joseph Parker. Talk of dodging a bullet. I mean, what are your reflections on that, and how much have you learned? Can you learn enough in the 4 months between that fight and this fight with Joe Parker?
Yeah, look, I don't know if necessarily I'd call it dodging a bullet. I think I just knocked out the man holding the gun. Look, ultimately, on BoxRec, go have a look. It will just say win. It won't say, oh, Fabio Wardley had a close fight and he quote-unquote dodged a bullet. It will just say Fabio Wardley versus Justice Hooney and a W next to my name. And ultimately, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. It's finding a way. It's finding a way to win. And that thing is innate in me. It's built in me. That's not going to change no matter Justice Hooney, no matter Joseph Parker, no matter Oleksandr Usyk. That is built into me. It's not going to be this anything different. And I understand. I'm very aware of the challenge in front of me is a different one faced than Justice Hooney. But ultimately, I did ask for this. I asked for this opportunity. I asked for this fight. So I have full faith, full confidence in myself that I'm at this level and able to beat and knock out Joseph Parker. That I have all the skills and all the abilities to do so. I just need to put it together properly on the night and get it done.
Joseph, your opponent here is unbeaten in 20 fights, but we have seen him draw with Fraser Clarke. We did see that Justice Hooney fight in which he did lose rounds. Do you feel like the blueprint on how to beat Fabio Wardley is already out there?
You know what? I'm a different fighter to all those fighters that he's fought before. Very different. And I'll show you on the 25th.
Let me ask you this. I've heard you say that you're not going to go into this fight and back off. You said, in fact, if he wants to meet me in the middle, we can. That sounds like a high-risk strategy against someone with a 94% knockout rate. Do you stand by that?
Yeah. I want to have a fight. I've been wanting a fight for a long time now, since February. So I have a fight. Let's get in the ring and let's fight. Let's meet in the middle and let's trade.
That sounds like Christmas come early for you, Fabio, surely.
Yeah, look, centre of the ring, swinging it out is home sweet home to me. It's where you see the best of me. It's where you see the most out of me. It's a place where I think I'm at my best, to be honest. So it's a dangerous place for Parker to put himself. But again, credit to him for taking the fight and credit to him for wanting to stand there with me and trade it out. Let's just see if that comes to fruition on the night, because you know what you get with me. That much is obvious. So I'll be there, stood in the middle of that ring, ready and waiting.
Joseph, one thing that Fabio has said is that he doesn't need to be perfect for 12 rounds. He just needs to be perfect for one moment, and that's all it takes. But haven't you heard all this before with Deontay Wilder?
Listen, I've been in the ring with a lot of fighters. So there's nothing new that I haven't faced. So when it comes down to this fight, obviously I'm going to use Camp as a way of analysing things that he does good and bad, come up with a game plan with Andy and George, and let's get it on. Like, I'm ready to fight. I've been ready to fight for a long time. Now I have one locked in. I can't wait.
Fabio, I just want to ask you, because you and Michael both kind of smirked amongst yourselves when David Higgins was talking about the run of the 3 wins, the Wilder, the Zhang, the Bacoli. Do you think maybe Joseph Parker is getting too much credit for those wins? Because there is another argument out there that perhaps it wasn't the best Wilder, wasn't the best Zhang, wasn't the best Bacoli. What do you think? Where do you stand on it?
Well, I think we can all agree in this room that wasn't the best Bacoli. But that's not a slight on Joseph Parker at all. To look, all you can do is beat the men in front of you. I think it was the specific wording that I had a slight chuckle with. That David Higgins said. I think it was the best heavyweight run in history was maybe the
one
word.
of the best. Those names would be
semantics.
Justice Hooney, Zhang, Justice Hooney, Wilder, Justice Hooney, Bacoli.
That's not the point in question, though. The point was, as you said, it's the best run in history, and that was just an area.
I didn't say the best run in history. I said it would stack up as one of the best runs in history, and it would.
Semantics, again, no problem. It's fine, no bother. But like I say, I'm not taking anything away from Parker and those wins, because all you can do is beat the men in front of you, and they are good fighters with good resumes and good records, and they pose threats. But I'm not those men. I'm a very different fighter from all three of those guys. I'm not no 30-odd stone Bacoli. I'm not no 15 stone Wilder, who's not a Wilder we've seen the same for a number of years, nor am I a 40-year-old plus Zhang, who's gassed after 4 or 5 rounds. So I'm an entirely different animal. I'm an entirely different beast. So although, again, like I'll say again and again, I'm not going to take anything away from Joseph Parker, because they're great fights, great wins, and there's nothing you can take away from a man that gets in there and beats whoever's put in front of him. But I'm not those men.
Joseph, yesterday when you guys were on TalkSport, the whole concept of the white-collar background was brought up. And you said, let's not talk about this white-collar stuff. Do you feel like Fabio is kind of relying on that, almost like an inbuilt excuse if it doesn't go his way? What do you think?
No, I think the white-collar, it's a great story. He started off as a white-collar fighter, and he's progressed in his professional career, and we've seen him improve each and every time he jumps in the ring. So that's the old story of Fabio Wardley. There's a new story now.
And what is that story going to read on October 25th?
Well, that story is different. On October 25th, that story stops there. It's a Parker win. I'm going to go home and celebrate and eat some nice junk food.
Fabio, final one to yourself before I close off with Frank. What are the headlines going to say about Fabio Wardley October 25th?
White-collar Wardley does it again.
Frank, the appetite is wet, an absolute sizzler coming up October 25th. Why should fans tune in for this one?
Because you heard it from the horses' mouths. It's going to be a shootout. As soon as that bell goes in the first round, they're going to get down on it. They're going to be throwing bombs, and somebody will go. It's going to be a great fight. All or nothing. It's on the line. The winner will get Usyk. That's what they're fighting for. Buy a ticket. Watch it on DAZN, the home of heavyweight boxing. This is going to be something special.
There's not been a fight at the O2 for a long time either. So, not a big one like this. So, fair play to you, Frank. Fair play to your team, Fabio. David Higgins, because they put this together very, very well and very quickly. So, hats off to everybody. And it's going to be a big fight and a sellout. 1,000,000%.
1,000,000% tickets on general sale, of course, tomorrow. Let's get these fighters faced off. But October 25th, DAZN. It's Parker versus Wardley. It's all or nothing.
Couple of